Hey guys, tonight we wander into the sleepy world of Middle-earth, where stories unfold like a cozy blanket on a chilly night. You might feel the soft embrace of a well-loved quilt as we journey into the tale of Lord Aragorn. It's one of those stories that wraps itself around you, so don't worry if you nod off halfway through. You probably won't survive this one without a nap. Before you get too comfy, feel free to tap like or subscribe, but only if you're genuinely enjoying the calm around here. Tell me where you're listening from and what time it is over there. I love seeing how far this sleepy little journey reaches. Now, go ahead and lower the lights. Maybe let a fan hum in the background, and let's drift gently into tonight's story together. You wake up in this land of legend, where whispers of adventure hang in the air like the scent of fresh-baked bread, warm and inviting. Our tale begins long before Aragorn's reign, in the charming yet humble beginnings of his life. Aragorn, known initially as Estelle, was born in the year 2931 of the Third Age, raised in Rivendell by the wise Elrond. Yep, that Elrond, the one with wisdom flowing through his veins like it's his job. As a child, Aragorn was a curious little thing, the kind of kid who seemed like he would grow up to pretend to be a pro hiker on Instagram, even though he lived in a place where magical creatures were as common as squirrels in our world. Imagine tiny Aragorn exploring the nooks and crannies of Rivendell, which honestly would make the perfect backdrop for any TikTok video. Elves gliding seamlessly through the trees, while he stumbled around like he missed the grace memo. A quirky fact: Aragorn wasn't always aware of his own lineage. It's like not realizing you're related to someone famous, like finding out you're distantly connected to a Kardashian after a deep dive on Ancestry. Calm. Surprise. You're royalty. But Elrond kept the secret until Aragorn turned the big 2-0, imagining it was some elvish version of a reality TV reveal, and everyone couldn't believe their virtual ears. Historians still argue whether Aragorn's early years under Elrond's care impacted his later decisions as a king. Did bedtimes in Rivendell include life lessons, or just advice on keeping one's hair flawlessly majestic despite constant adventuring? Gorgeous locks aren't just an accident, you know. In those tender years, Aragorn got acquainted with the Rangers of the North, a group tasked with protecting the lands from dark forces, which sounds like an ideal career for anyone binging medieval sword-fighting tutorials on YouTube. Seriously, imagine Aragorn indulging in a daydream, fighting off imaginary foes, probably narrated by some with an accent. Where's a smartphone to record that when you need one? But it wasn't all daydreams and frolicking in the forest. Aragorn was bestowed the elvish name Elisar, which he definitely thought was cool enough for a magic-laden signature, but probably wasn't helping him get away from chores. Imagine scribbling that on parchment with a rabbit-shaped pen as you doodle little swords around all your important notes. The exact path of his youth remains a delightful mystery, much like trying to remember the natural order of the Star Wars series, and whether prequels count if you nap during them. Did he really play with Arwen's elvish cats? Was he secretly reading scrolls upside down because ancient text combat sounded fancy? Your guess is as good as anyone's. Life in Middle-earth at this time was endlessly fascinating, a patchwork of different kingdoms and peoples. Everything from the rustic comforts of the Shire to the imperial heights of Gondor. It's like scrolling through vacation photos on Pinterest, trying to pick a vibe you relate to the most, but ultimately feeling at home with snack breaks. And through these days, young Aragorn's life continued mostly in the outskirts, a bit like that shadowy profile your friends speculate over on social media. It was time well spent under the guide of people with wisdom to lend and stories to awe, all building towards the man he would become. Hidden potential, growing stronger and more noble with each passing dream. Kind of like you trying to finish that last level of your nighttime cell phone game. You know, just before actually sleeping. So, try to picture it. A young Estelle, sometimes tiptoeing around the halls of Rivendell with wide eyes and yesternight's dreams still on the edge of his smile. This is just the soft beginning. The very first chapter of a story that would ripple across ages, patiently unfurling its tendrils into the night like a comforting lullaby. You walk into a bright, familiar Shire morning where everything feels like it's been dipped in honey and sunshine. The hobbits are living their cheerful, unassuming lives, tucked away in their cozy corner of Middle-earth. If the world had a do not disturb mode, it was certainly activated here. Picture this: gardens overflowing with blossoming greenery, smoke curling lazily from round chimney tops, and the scent of homemade bread floating through the air like a warm hug. The Shire was, and still is in many ways, the epitome of comfort and peace. If you ever needed a place to mentally escape to when adulthood felt a bit too much like an endless Monday, this was it. Imagine Bilbo in his fuzzy slippers, oblivious to the grand adventures on the horizon, much like us when we're scrolling through travel reels while wrapped in our favorite blanket, just dreaming. You might be wondering what this sleepy land of hobbits has to do with Aragorn, our young ranger still untested by the world. Well, the Shire links him in mysterious ways to the tale of the One Ring, an artifact so powerful it would give even the latest smartphone a run for its money in terms of desirability. In the heart of the Shire, this ring lay hidden and unassuming, sparking events that would soon intertwine with Aragorn's destiny. Now for a quirky tidbit. It's said that the hobbits' love of round doors was inspired by their love of circles. In hobbit culture, there's wisdom in curves and comfort in circles. Maybe they were the original minimalists, knowing exactly how to KonMari their lives without even decluttering a single wardrobe. But not all is a field of frivolity. Historians still argue whether Bilbo would have discovered the ring's dark history if Aragorn had crossed his path earlier in life. Would it have changed Bilbo's adventure? Would they have tagged along together, like the ultimate cross-generational buddy flick, leaving breadcrumbs and legends behind them? Anyways, spring meanders into summers in the Shire, with a pace so gentle you'd think time moved forward on a sunbeam. Frodo, Sam, and the rest of the gang are more interested in second breakfasts than any foreboding prophecies or kingly aspirations. It's like when you get a work email on a weekend and just think, nope, future me can deal with that. Life here is uncomplicated and full of those mundane little joys. As you lean back and let the memory of flowers sway under a gentle breeze sink in, you might feel part of you allying with that scenic sleepy land, wandering amongst its rolling pastures. Aragorn, too, held a particular fondness for the simpler things, which grounded him amid the chaos we'll see unfurling in his later years. The Shire stands as a reminder of what must be protected, what Aragorn and the free peoples of Middle-earth strive so tirelessly to preserve. Without realizing, the small daily pleasures and the laughter within hobbit holes would fuel the fires of bravery in hearts destined to stand in peril's way. Some names ring loud because of their silence, much like a podcast you fall asleep to because it's just that soothing. So here you have it, a quiet morning, stretching into another peaceful day in the Shire, where tales of valiant kings and fierce battles are merely myth, shared over cups of tea and then blotted out by pie crusts and pipe smoke. It's easy to drift here where the grass seems greener, even if just for a little while, knowing that somewhere beyond the borders, a young man named Aragorn walks, learning of the grandeur he will soon be called to embrace. For now, you can rest in this lull, teasing apart the threads of simplicity knitted into the hearts of small folk who never needed to be anything more than happy in their own imperfectly perfect ways. As you lazily stretch out beneath your cozy blanket, consider the first true adventures of Aragorn. Imagine him finally setting foot beyond the safety of Rivendell, like an eager college freshman stepping onto campus for the first time. He's about 20 years old now, ready to trade lessons of theory for the raw teachings of the world itself. You walk with Aragorn under vast, open skies, feeling the breeze tug playfully at your hair, as if it knows the secrets woven into each passing cloud. Initially, every step is filled with that boundless excitement of possibilities, the path of the Dunedain stretching before him like empty pages ready to be written upon with wild tales. A whisper on the wind carries tales of strange lands and looming shadows, tales that call to him with an energy you'd expect from earphones blaring motivational podcasts during morning jogs. Except, without the sweaty gym clothes, Aragorn finds himself among the Rangers, those guardians of the North committed to shielding innocence from lurking threat. They're the unsung heroes of Middle-earth, kind of like IT support. Only you notice them when everything goes bright, or dark in their case. This period is an awkward dance of legends forming their first tentative steps, fumbling through tangled destinies while whispering prayers beneath scattered stardust. Aragorn's youth was as much about unnoticed victories as it was about lessons learned. Picture him maneuvering through some of these simpler battles with all the elegance of someone practicing yoga after consuming one too many slices of pie. Can't say he didn't try his best. During these early days, Aragorn took on a journey to visit some prominent realms. Think of it as Middle-earth's greatest hits tour. This included a rather debonair jaunt over to Gondor, where subtle disguises added intrigue to his travels. It's strangely reminiscent of wearing a hat and sunglasses to the grocery store in hopes of avoiding those inevitable small talks. And how's this for a quirky tidbit? While in Gondor, Aragorn went by the name Thorongil, a moniker that sounds like he was low-key taking identity tips from a fantasy character generator. There's just something about an alias to make any journey sound intensely mysterious and clandestine. Historians still argue whether Aragorn's ventures through various realms were strategically inspired or merely luck's fortunate brush, granting opportunity. Did seeing the lands and cultures firsthand shape his reign, giving him fresh insights into uniting a fractured world? Or were these experiences just colorful, added footnotes to his story, delightful distractions on an already turbulent path? His adventures were rarely solitary. During this time, Aragorn crossed paths with characters that would become close allies. He met the wizard Gandalf, a man who'd quickly become like an enigmatic uncle, pushing him onto quests with a twinkle cloaked by wisdom, much like how memes encapsulate life's absurdities, needing just the right moment to complete the picture. The hum of the world around him, pulsed with the resonance of history, the quiet echo of epic tales sung through the ages. And Aragorn, ever the curious explorer, yearned to fit his voice among their number. Through forests dense and valleys deep, where the silhouette of mountain ridges seemed etched by memories, etched in the dreams of land and spirit. So, as you wind down further on this journey, let your breaths become soft and steady as you walk in Aragorn's shoes, where every small adventure is a story, a piece of mosaic connected to a grand tapestry as yet incomplete. Drift easily along as the shadows of history pave the way homeward under a blanket of starlit wonder, and find part of yourself woven softly into the fabric of Middle-earth's enduring saga. You wander now into the moments of shadow, where Aragorn's path veers slightly into murkier depths, like a half-remembered dream that leaves traces of mystery on waking edges. Life, as they say, isn't all sunshine and second breakfasts. For Aragorn, some chapters of his story came with a hint of darkness lurking in the narrative, much like those curious three-word texts that prompt late-night pondering. Picture this: our hero navigating through hidden lands, places where the light felt second-guessed by the courage of shadows, edges softened by uncertainty. Much like rain smudging chalk drawings on the sidewalk, it's during these patches of adventure that Aragorn's resolve tested its mettle, as he sought not only to protect others, but to understand the unknown. You walk alongside as Aragorn traverses through forgotten ruin and rugged forest, where his footfalls weave an unspoken rhythm among whispering elm and rustling underbrush. It was so quiet at times that even his own heartbeats seemed like audible proclamations of intention, subtly echoing in the pauses, much like how certain songs get stuck in your head despite only hearing them once. Yet, within this solitude, Aragorn often found clarity, oddly therapeutic, given the stakes compared to mentally rearranging your closet while avoiding actually doing it. Historians still argue whether Aragorn's subtle heroics during these challenging times sculpted his character more profoundly than the grander moments to come. Was this period of wandering, of lending a steady hand in darkened hours, the true crucible for the royalty residing within him? Did the weight of quieter leadership craft the foundation for his legendary future? Or were these merely whispered stories cradled between the larger chronicles? While the realm held its collective breath, Aragorn's shadowed sojourn allowed him experiences many would rather refrain from discussing over tea. He ventured into places where legends told of restless spirits, where those brave enough could commune with past echoes, long rooted as myths among campfire tales. For a ranger with questions haunting in similar silence, these fleeting conversations tickled at understanding unsaid, much like finding an obscure book with torn pages, yet empathizing with each dangling plot thread. A quirky tidbit from out of nowhere. Within these shadows, Aragorn's keen sense of direction, arguably rivaling Google Maps' intuitive guessing, led him to encounter several memorable companions. Among these unlikely allies were dwarves and elves, wary at first, but eventually regarding him as friend. It's like forming friendships over shared curiosities, such as unexpected mutual enthusiasm about microbreweries brewing soda rather than anything alcoholic. Aragorn held a particular discipline throughout these moments, one defined by seemingly aimless wandering, yet holding intent like a secret written in invisible ink. With each sun rising, his love for Middle-earth deepened, drawn as though by magic to sights unparalleled, part of an ancient tapestry of time existing beyond immediate comprehension. It's a story written in footprints across the soil of history, charted precisely by those who dared listen long enough. And so, with the moon softly padding across velvet skies like an old cat, let arcing reveries guide your resting ones as they mystery the stars. Feel the weight feathering a lighter anguish upon a realm escaping only through stories, because what lives onward is carried within. The courage you choose when finding truth lit dimly by flickering light alone. Let your thoughts wander under the shadowed canopy, gently gathering warmth before dawn unfurls its soft grace. In this space of silent, steadied solace with Aragorn, until journeys extend into tomorrow. Partners against evil. Take a deep breath and imagine yourself in a spontaneous yet comforting group chat. One without the typing anxiety, but filled with unexpected insights. As Aragorn's escalating journey of light and shadow intertwines with the lives of others, he forms bonds that echo throughout Middle-earth's expanding lore. Think of it as assembling a dream team on a quest, without the scheduling woes of who's bringing snacks. You walk side by side with the newly formed fellowship, a robust band that includes hobbits, a wizard, an elf, a dwarf, and another man of noble birth. Together, they navigate shared challenges, the camaraderie unfolding with all the awkward grace of strangers at a reunion, realizing they're accidentally wearing matching shirts. And yes, there are even moments when they're all like, "I'm sure we'll laugh about this eventually," while facing scenarios no one put on their adventure bingo sheet. The quintessential aim? Embarking on a significant endeavor. Destroy the One Ring, that insidious band of power with alluring dominance, much like big tech logos hovering menacingly in taskbars. But given its dangerous allure, it's likely everyone held their breaths at every step closer to the resolution. Each member brought a unique presence, a precious individuality to the fellowship. Gandalf, the wizened one, offering advice that never needed a second editing pass. Frodo, brave and burdened, determined as a viral post, staying relevant past its peak. And Aragorn, the leader of men, binding their purpose through unwavering resolve, akin to keeping glued together by shared inside jokes formed over late-night existential chats. The whimsical aspect. During one expedition across broken landscapes, the elf Legolas swore he saw something akin to a unicorn in the distance. Though when seeking confirmation, everyone else shrugged, suggesting he was just probably dreaming with his eyes open again. Based on elvish memory reputedly outlasting even the latest OS upgrades, it's still the subject of delightful speculation whether the elf truly gazed upon mythical beauty or was simply confusing it with an unseasonal snow-kissed deer. Historians still argue whether the fellowship's diverse nature, this carefully woven tapestry of strengths, solidified Aragorn's competence that played larger depths within his rule. Did their disparate backgrounds accentuate diplomacy that helped shape future Middle-earth's tranquility? Through crisscross paths, across foreboding trails, our fellowship's tales unfold. Aragorn subtly learns of himself, understanding that strength does not solely lie in solitary triumphs, but in shared burdens shouldered together. With each rhythmic clack of hobbit feet and the whistling hum of arrows careening through tree boughs, you realize even in solitude, one remains endlessly connected to allies sharing whispers of the same eventual dreams. Now, as you rest, allow your own connections to knit softly together in kinship, feeling the warm resonance of shared adventures. Lean into the camaraderie wrapped around you like a comfortably oversized hoodie, holding on until morning whispers fresh stories along crisp breeze. Journey forth with all the gentle love of traveling with friends who somehow just get you, as partners against every day's little chaos until the world's curtain falls yet again. You walk, perhaps a little apprehensively, into the paths of the dead, an eerie expanse where the air itself seems to hang heavy with history's breath. Imagine footsteps echoing in this ghostly hall as Aragorn leads a daring few through this chilling venture. The path outlined by ancestral whispers and silence thick enough to wrap around your bones like the chill of late autumn. It's like walking into a room, hoping for leftover pizza, but finding only a cryptic post-it note warning you of your diet instead. Aragorn mustered courage and resolve, qualities that set him apart, much like that one friend who can handle horror movies without flinching or turning on all the lights afterwards. The paths were far from a casual stroll. They demanded nerve as well as trust in legends. Like the mythic shortcuts people swore by pre-Google Maps, just significantly more spectral. Here's the quirky bit for tonight. Rumor had it, a spectral minstrel could sometimes be heard singing faint and distant songs, curiously off-key. Perhaps it was just legends breathing life into the myths. Or maybe it was some specter's idea of conducting passive-aggressive musical pranks, amusedly echoing down forgotten stone corridors. Historians still argue whether a supernatural convincing of spectral armies by the likes of Aragorn might have seemed eerily coincidental or divinely inspired. Did Aragorn's intrinsic charisma seal alliance with entities long departed? Or were these ghostly figures genuinely tied to a waiting prophesied come to pass with the heir of Isildur? Sweeping his cloak into the drafty ether, where cold shivers mingled with unseen eyes' familiar scrutiny, Aragorn's gaze remained steady. You can almost picture him guiding the lost to their destined liberty, like a familiar assuring message that magically elicits seen, without the dread of triggering a response obligation. Each bead of sweat earned not over questions of fear, but in the bearability of carrying others' uncertainties over life's precipice. As for the ones tucked beside him under Banner's fresh valor, tremors softly echoed underfoot, each murmuring step a chorus of inevitable resolutions once whispered among sleeping ancestral halls. It felt as if all shadows were momentarily stitched into an eternally unraveling tapestry as Aragorn breached realms untouched by mortal courage. You find yourself holding your breath along with Aragorn as he ultimately stood before their deceased host, ensuring himself through the implacable twist of fate that friendship crafted by service be fulfilled beyond breath. Before departed eyes, promises etched into time's unyielding canvas found resolution as the king of the dead agreed to aid the living cause in taking down the realm's greatest threat. Must feel like the ultimate and most dramatic of group project submissions, everybody getting credit. Yet you can't quite tell who promised coffee rewards during late-night brainstorming. And then it was over. The unlikeliest of companions emerging surprisingly alive and slightly shivering, carried by hope and earthy possibilities back in disguise tinged with the fading light of day. You, now left with the blurry lines among introspection, wonder at what haunts your own steps, how shadows entwine to the characters of dreams, and whether each personal path may find its own lie-filled singer. Let the resonance ripple through wells of potential, right where each footfall elicits reverie's pulsating brush upon weary souls. Transition your eyelids gently into conclusions, listening to tomorrow's softly weaving song through gentle breath until dawn spills open like scattered stardust along this trail of dreaming thoughts. The battle begins, an intense crescendo rising from the tranquil backdrop of Middle-earth, where Aragorn strides forward, like a conductor, orchestrating forces both ancient and immediate. Picture yourself standing on the brink of history's unfolding symphony, the air crackling with anticipation, like the thrilling apprehension of trying to unravel a cryptic text from your crush. Exciting, nerve-wracking, and utterly consuming. Textures become vivid. Banners snap dramatically in the wind. Armor shadows stretch long in the dawning light, and you can almost smell the dust kicked up by marching feet. This isn't just any skirmish. It's a pivotal clash between hope and despair. An epic tale as captivating and unexpected as finding yourself deep into a satisfying binge-watch session without realizing the time. Aragorn assembles his allies, a motley and resilient fellowship, eager to face the forces of darkness, gathering ominously before them. And while everyone would outwardly proclaim steadfastness, there's no denying the flutter of anxiety lurking beneath their bravado, as if they'd all collectively forgotten the words to a group presentation. It's an open secret, like that feeling when everyone claims to eat salad, but really indulges in midnight cookies. An intriguing tidbit to tickle your imagination. During campfire whispers, it was said that one of the soldiers carried a pet mouse, a tiny creature that mysteriously survived every campaign. There's scarce written about the legendary battle mouse, but its existence remains something of a charming enigma. Maybe there's a brave rodent waving a teeny flag somewhere in memory. Historians still argue whether Aragorn's strategic placement and leadership on these occasions truly altered fate's tapestry. Did his carefully laid plans resonate deeply enough to turn the tide? Or was there simply luck painted with destiny's brush-stroking hand, aligning stars on the battlefield itself like cosmic dust settled into chess-like harmony? Each glance exchanged across warrior ranks added layers to Aragorn's intrinsic understanding. Courage blossoming beneath glistening armor, drenched in light across evening's gentle touch. And as arrows arched like stardust cutting through moonlit palisades, Aragorn's fervor drove him forward, wielding hope as a nightly lantern against gathering shadows of despair. Hearts pounding in sync, each of Aragorn's steps became measured, exuding resolve which whispered confidence much like the undisputed certainty of a familiar melody sung in unison with friends who just get when to stay quiet. His persona was both the tether, binding collective courage, and the spark igniting ambitions toward luminous realms beyond possibility. It's these windswept moments, whispering cascading against valor's march, where battle demands neither eloquence nor song, and deeds unfold unstopped, till strength rekindles courage, drawing power forward, whether in a realm suspended improbably between touchable daydream and waking breath. Right now, on the eve of this conflict, let yourself float through this tranquil chaos, like a petal finding its sheathed journey back home, across morning's sheltered embrace, slipstream into residing dreams until dawn unfurls within echo's tender shield, joining you alongside each shivering quiet exhalation until the narrative holds you just a little longer, carried gently amidst Aragorn's orchestral tide. Leading with wisdom, Aragorn emerges through the din of battle as a guiding beacon, his presence radiating calm focus amidst swirling uncertainties, much like a lighthouse standing unperturbed against a tempest-laden sea. You stroll alongside him, with each step feeling like tracing familiar paths in the moonlit reflections of your own quiet moments of clarity. This chapter unveils the softer strength of a leader, not merely in command, but embodying understanding. Much like trying to decide what to order for takeout and somehow balancing everyone's requests without losing your cool. It's the subtle art of reading people and situations, Almost as if life was one elaborate text thread you were finally getting the hang of, emojis and all. Aragorn, now firmly rooted in a role that wields both authority and empathy, navigates the labyrinth of negotiations, subtle yet profound in their impact. Imagine him parsing through diplomatic mazes, his instincts honed by years of observing and listening. A lot like scrolling through memes in search of that perfect one that captures an elusive feeling just right. A quirky side note: legend has it that during one particularly tense deliberation, Aragorn broke the ice by asking an elvish riddle that left everyone puzzling. This won him not only respect, but a sound night of laughter, as, challenging as it was, the riddle was actually about finding one's way back home after losing a sandal to the river. It turns out even elves can relate to that bit of inconvenient reality. Historians still argue whether Aragorn's diplomatic ventures softened old rivalries and forged bonds that mirrored the strength of his ancestors. Was his vision of a united realm entirely his own? Or was it the inherited wisdom embedded in him, like an ancient melody playing softly beneath the surface, eagerly awaiting rediscovery? Through Aragorn's gaze, challenges transform, no longer insurmountable, but instead opportunities for collective triumphs. His interactions resonate with an assurance that perhaps, just perhaps, every twisty path leads to a direct, sunlit clearing, where the world's complexities unravel like tangled strands into harmonious simplicity. Think of him collaborating with minds as varied as the land stretched across Middle-earth, where the deliberations unfold akin to attending a virtual meeting. A bit awkward at times, everyone on mute, but ultimately all sharing the same ethereal habitat for peaceful solutions. The significance of Aragorn's method lies steadily within his ability to weave reliance on shared dreams, much like threading golden filaments through a tapestry, blending hues quietly until distinctions blur, and what remains is one cohesive visage. This combination of hope and warmth travels, rippling effortlessly, a whispered song within history's timed crescendo. So relax deeper still. Savor the enlightenment of these collaborative burdens translated into simpler dialogues as mutual understanding grows unbidden. Join in this symphony where innovation and problem-solving dwell lightly, echoing across the gentle repose of early dawn until your own heartbeat lulls softly alongside, resting well in wisdom's embrace. You find yourself drifting into the realm of love and choice, where the heart becomes an open book with pages eagerly turning. Aragorn's journey meanders softly through personal and heartfelt realms, like discovering an old playlist forgotten in the shuffle, each song rekindling youthful hopes and dreams. Imagine the warmth of a flickering flame, whispering stories as softly as a candle's glow against velvet shadows. In these tranquil moments, Aragorn ponders the balance between personal desire and the greater good, a universal conundrum akin to deciding between staying in dreamy solitude or venturing out into the buzzing world for brunch. The line between duty and longing blurs like watercolor edges, creating intricate patterns of emotions nestling into each other. Aragorn's heart, entwined with hopes for Arwen, weaves tapestry-like dreams into existence, spinning one narrative while the winds of responsibility carry onward another. A love story evolving gently within a world poised on destiny's precipice, tentatively treading the thin line between what if and could be, like texts sent late at night, waiting for dots to appear, praying they match eloquently spoken thoughts. Here's a quirky but sweet tidbit. During one of their rare moments together, under the starlit eaves of Lothlorien, it's said they've tried to count all the visible stars, a hopeless endeavor that always led to Arwen gently teasing that even in quantified infinity, nothing truly matters if they could share it together. It's the kind of honest comfort that resonates like sharing inside stories over a steaming cup of herbal tea enveloped by a knitted shawl. Historians still argue whether Arwen's choices to remain bound to Aragorn influenced larger events as profoundly as individual sacrifices. Did her timeless loyalty mirror a kingdom's desires, each small decree folding toward arching unity? Or was it simply a personal quandary sealed within hearts? In these moments, quiet yet paramount, Aragorn stands delicately poised, like a candle atop a birthday cake bound to glow, soon amid gathered loved ones. You can almost hear his inner dialogues echo faintly, barely cutting through the embracing silence, wondering which roads must remain and which might lay forgotten beneath time's caress. The briefest silhouettes dance across starlit balconies, rhythmically tracing stories whispered into the night, drawing dreams softly like cotton candy, unwinding in daylight, sugar bright against lips courting brevity. Each spin of these entwined loves echoes on within tendrils of time, threading itself gently with strands of enduring warmth. Wrap yourself in these reflective musings, finding pieces of yourself among the constellations drawn, weaving unspokenness into layers wrapped like scarves wound against bracing air. Hold love's nestled breath gently, embraced within your chest and glowing with promise until the tranquil night, tainted with endless possibilities, envelopes, guiding your mind into restful surrender, touched with whispers of unhurried dreams. The siege that changed fate begins to unfold with a subtle crescendo, the kind that rolls through the landscape like the scent of a storm approaching, where anticipation clings to every softened heartbeat. You find yourself peering into a world teetering between night and dawn, much like teetering on the verge of a decision, where all choices seem profound in the murmur of prelude. Aragorn stands amid these moments, a beacon of resolve amid the clamor of impending battle. His presence, a steadying force, feels akin to having a friend who whispers comforting encouragements during trying times, even when the Wi-Fi seems conspiring against your streaming pursuits. There's a grounding influence in his command, guiding through the chaos as effortlessly as you might discourage a cat from making another leap to forbidden heights. Amidst this tension, there's a subtle gathering of allies. Forces rally under the banner of hope, with urgency vibrating through conversations like the static-laden buzz of late-breaking news shared across eager ears. Those who stood alongside Aragorn could feel the essence of destiny unfurling like scrolls, revealing secrets from forgotten histories. Here's a quirky detail to tickle the imagination. During a lull in the intense preparations, Legolas and Gimli wagered on who could outlast the other in eating the most lembas bread. Despite dwarven hunger being the stuff of epic tales, Legolas somehow managed to win, likely due to an inexplicable elvish affinity for repetitive sustenance. They laughed it off, agreeing it must surely be the ambiguous spices that skewed the contest. Historians still argue whether this siege symbolized the true turning point in Gondor's destiny, or if it merely showcased Aragorn's burgeoning authority. Did this convergence of fate illuminate individual stories as bright and enduring as glowing embers, each exuding light into the world's tapestry, more so than cumulative design intended? You can imagine the pulse of determination flowing effortlessly through Aragorn's veins as he orchestrates defenses like conductors of symphonies, crafting synchronization out of cacophony. His orders ripple through the ranks, creating waves of resolve upon which many brave their fears, like students bravely offering to present first in class discussions. These sentiments echo beyond defensive walls into the hearts of those poised to endure. Across parapets and between shadows, watchful eyes observe the encroaching tide, always rolling in, always retreating, meet comfortably behind reality's veil. As you too slide alongside this rhythm, feel connected through the heartbeat clattering against heightened walls, each murmur twining through vehement resolve, struggling to free its tightly knit tether. Let warmth fold around you, suspending time between breaths as soft moments lace whispers across the sighing foreground. Drift amid these designs we've stenciled into our tales, gradually welcoming serenity's containment back into dreams woven tightly as dawn's gentle footprint. The narrative thrives where shadows and clarity blur. Within the peace that resides in life's gentle continuity amid unending resolutions. Rising to the throne, it's a morning bathed in golden hue, as if the world itself wakes with renewed purpose, the air shimmering with expectancy. You walk with Aragorn along this well-trodden path, the quiet hum of anticipation enveloping every step, like the joyous uncertainty of finally tasting something home-baked after staring at countless recipe videos. There's a soft vibration in the air, the sense that everything has shifted into a new alignment, caught in a moment between dreams fulfilled and fresh challenges sprouting forth. Aragorn ascends not merely as a warrior, but as a king, his journey one of growth, sewn intricately with threads of valor, wisdom, and steadfast compassion. It's a crowning moment, akin to opening a particularly sluggish app, only to find it refreshed, all at once inviting and exhilarating. There he stands, straddling hope's vibrant edge, where past whispers coalesce into something profound yet tender. Picture the elaborate ceremony unfolding, banners unfurling as gracefully as memories catching evening's breeze, trumpets heralding purpose, and a sea of faces undulating like waves upon listening shores. Earning his mantle, Aragorn is poised, the epitome of grace and humility. Everyone knows the only kingship they've ever sought is not of dominance, but of guardianship. You sense they're witnessing an age embracing renewal, like software launching into the next update without glitches. Here's a quirky tidbit for the night. Legend tells that during the morning before his coronation, Aragorn glanced into a mirror, only to find his hair uncharacteristically unruly. A gentle reminder that even kings have those deceptive days when locks simply refuse to behave. Despite frantic combing through protests, he later laughed it off, embracing even minor imperfections midst glory. Perhaps an omen of humility that promised greatness. Historians still argue whether Aragorn ascending the throne symbolized destiny's ultimate fulfillment, or if personal victories upheld him beyond mere bloodlines. Was this moment a coronation of lineage, or the crowning of accumulated deeds, binding generations' dreams across Middle-earth fields? Amidst resounding cheers calling his name, Aragorn's voice rings clear, weaving tales of unity. No longer separate peoples held beneath division, but one realm stitched seamlessly through hope and shared narratives. The assembled crowd feels a galvanizing warmth, bridging once riven lands, the threads of fellowship rekindling a light vibrantly timeless, akin to interlocked melodies binding strangers into beloved kin. So, sway in this gentle harmony, poised between rights old and futures undiscovered. Let each ripple beneath continued breaths carry, with affection, this crowning brilliance matched by gentled shadows. Glide softly beneath gently cradled hearth songs, echoing dreams' tender refrain, embedding rest beneath your own starlit sky. One complete yet always ready for enchanting embellishment, wrapped warm with the echoes of infinite tomorrows spinning around this celestial reflection. A kingdom's dream, resplendent and evolving, unfolds with each passing moment as Aragorn begins his rule. You find yourself gently wandering through the lands of Middle-earth, as if tracing a finger across the worn map of your favorite book, the one that sits dog-eared and cozy on a crowded shelf. There's a hum in the air that's hard to describe, much like the warmth of freshly folded laundry or the quiet joy of a favorite mug filled with morning tea. Aragorn's reign ushers in an era of restoration and peace, elevating both the mundane and the magnificent into a seamless tapestry of possibility. It's much like finally tackling that to-do list and finding unexpected delight in ticking off even the smallest tasks. Satisfaction in each gentle click of accomplishment, feeling as satisfying as achieving inbox zero. Picture the rhythms of life settling into a new cadence under Aragorn's watchful gaze. Gardens bloom and streets bustle gently with renewed vigor, hope threading its way like sunbeams seeking every hidden corner. Communities embrace unity under his governance, forging bonds reminiscent of that long thread of yarn you never quite find the end of, infinitely looping, yet promising cozy connections. On a lighter note, it's said that Aragorn, amidst his kingly duties, tried his hand at cooking. The results? A hilariously less than stellar attempt at elvish recipes that saw him adding an oddly generous amount of an ingredient best left mysterious. Let's just say, not every dish was worthy of Elrond's gilded table. Yet, much like life's imperfect flavors, Jared dwarven friends assured him, good-naturedly, that at least laughter felt enriching. Historians still argue whether Aragorn's governance was influenced more by inherited tradition or blossoming innovation. Was this the age-old wisdom of his ancestors guiding him, or the fresh imprint of a visionary leader keen on sculpting a realm reborn from dreams yet to be lived? In these serene interludes, where each dawn brings fresh canvases kissed by paintbrushes of dawn-colored skies, Aragorn ensures that his realm reflects not only past glories, but future hopes. Clarity permeates his rule, like learning the nuances of infusing just the right amount of humor into everyday interactions. A balance between what was and what could be, tinkering softly into grace. As you lean into this gentle narrative, let the calm stretch across your thoughts, like watercolors bleeding serenely across a once blank page. Feel the kingdom's pulse steady under kindling stars, a warm embrace of continuity guiding you softly into the horizon's embrace. As you drift through these dreams of realms expanding into familiar constellations, hold on to the warmth of endless stories, whispered by morning's soothing disarm, cradled in peace-filled whispers awaiting your return. Legacy of a leader. His days marked not just by the deeds performed, but by the whispers carried on the breeze, shaping realms and memories alike. You find yourself enveloped in the daily rhythms of a flourishing kingdom, where every corner seems softly alight with promise. Much like fairy lights twinkling across a cozy windowsill in the quiet hours of the night, life feels wonderfully textured, a woven blend of vibrant threads, spinning tales of community and collaboration. Aragorn stands as a beacon, radiating the quiet confidence of someone who's seen through to the heart of things, like a seasoned barista who crafts your drink with an intuition that borders on magical. His legacy is rooted not just in grand gestures, but in the small acts of kindness that paint life's canvas with the most enduring hues. Under his watch, pathways once shadowed spring to life in hues of reconciliation, a harmonious composition echoing like a tune you just can't help but hum along to. In these gentle days, Aragorn finds time to look inward, pondering not just the land he tends, but the legacy he will leave behind. It's like sorting through a box of forgotten photographs, each image lifting up stories buried beneath layers of dust and time, urging deeper exploration of both old paths and new horizons. Every decision Aragorn makes is like a pebble tossed into a clear pool, sending ripples that weave ever outward, a touch of destiny unfurling gently along time's curve. Here's a quirky little note. There was a day when Aragorn attempted archery with his children, only to be bested by their youthful exuberance and surprising skill. Imagine the hearty laughter shared in learning curves, curved around playful arrows, spirits as unburdened as the breeze. It turns out even kings can find humility in those spirited lessons carried in scruffy rhythms of youthfulness. Historians still debate whether Aragorn's leadership was designed by fate or by the heart's spontaneous blueprint. How often does destiny chart our courses? And how much of it is shaped by the choices crafted within each quiet moment of reflection? Was it the legacy expected for rulers? Or did he craft an orchestral narrative, reinventing what history whispered in elegant tones? Through Aragorn's years upon the throne, Middle-earth blossoms like dreams nurtured into bloom, each arising to meet the burgeoning horizon. His realm reflects a blend of unity and identity, where differences are celebrated and diverse stories unfold, with the grace reminiscent of leaves dancing to autumn's lullaby. Imagine days brushed with gentle magic, where laughter spills effortlessly into the night and stars twinkle kindly over a land rediscovering peace. Let the legacy linger in those dreams you wear softly under sleep's gentle touch. Picture a kingdom known as much for its warmth as for its strength, where its every tale feels inevitably yours. A warm narrative stitched along your thoughts like needle threading autumnal cloth. Sink into this gentle tide, where stories resurface like dappled light, wrapping the night's quietude around you, whispering tomorrow's song with all the promise the morning brings. Diplomacy and reflection, much like a whispered conversation with a trusted friend under the canopy of stars, settle gently over the realm. You find yourself meandering through a time of measured peace, where the soft rhythm of days stretches quietly like a calm river, winding through the landscape in effortless serpentine grace. It's an era that invites deeper thoughts, pieced together like jigsaw puzzles scattered across a coffee table during a lazy afternoon. Aragorn, ever the astute statesman, leans into his role with the quiet attentiveness of someone who listens to the world's hushed murmurs, reading its secrets like the worn pages of a treasured journal. Diplomacy becomes a gentle art form, almost like crafting the perfect playlist for a road trip. Each encounter brimming with potential, each alliance finely tuned to the rhythms of Middle-earth's collective heartbeats. These interactions, threaded with nuanced understanding, are less about grand declarations and more about the connections forged through friendly banter and shared visions. Picture Aragorn sitting at tables where cultural exchanges flow, with the ease of old friends meeting for coffee. Their conversations full of laughter, wisdom, and the occasional debate over who makes the best lembas. A playful contest as timeless as comparing favorite pizza toppings. On the lighter side, it's rumored that during one diplomatic dinner, Aragorn indulged in a spirited game of riddles with an elven delegation. The final riddle left even his most thoughtful companions hilariously confounded. It had something to do with the number of different ways to prepare potatoes, a staple equally loved, from the Shire to Gondor. Whether the elves were more mystified by potatoes or the riddle remains delightfully unclear. Historians still argue whether Aragorn's efforts in diplomacy reshaped the historical landscape enough to forge lasting peace, or if his actions simply planted seeds, patiently waiting for time to bend like sunlight streaming through leaves. How much of a realm, shaped by whispered conversations and empathetic choice, echoes across ages? In the soft glow of these exchanges, shadows of past conflicts slowly give way to new understandings, like the scattering of clouds unveiling a clear night sky dotted with stars. Each step forward is embraced gently but deliberately, a dance reflective of shared narratives gently urging kindred spirits. Feel this harmonious tenor resonate warmly, binding life's chords into joined reveries, echoing through each gentle hour. Entrust your dreams to this lullaby, where Aragorn's legacy of dialogue unfolds softly, inviting you to cradle warmth within breath and starlight. Let your thoughts wander like drifting willow leaves, each carrying stories swaying tender and true. When dawn finds you again, held in tranquil might, it will unveil threads spun by these dreams wrapped in hope and woven softly under night's gentle care. The quiet end approaches, a gentle closing of the chapter that feels like a long, slow exhale at the end of a beautiful day. Imagine Aragorn, not just as a king, but as a father, a husband, and a friend. His life, a tapestry woven with threads of valor and love. You find yourself drifting through the twilight of his years, where every memory wraps around you with the warmth of a well-worn blanket on a chilly evening. His reign, a testament to the strength and resilience of Middle-earth, gradually eases into a time of introspection, much like the soft glow that lingers after the sun has kissed the horizon. Aragorn, now an elder statesman, embraces his legacy with a quiet dignity, his presence a steady heartbeat that echoes through the realms he helped shape. It's like reflecting on the satisfying completion of a task long labored over, with the realization that all the little efforts truly mattered. In these golden years, he spends more time surrounded by family and friends, the sounds of laughter and shared stories filling the halls of Minas Tirith. Picture sunny afternoons spent beneath the boughs of ancient trees, leaves whispering gentle secrets as Aragorn listens to the wind with the same curiosity as a child opening a treasure chest of imagination. His wisdom, sought out by others, feels as comforting as a handwritten letter among a sea of digital correspondence. Here's a quirky tale to hold close. It's said that in his later years, Aragorn would sometimes sneak away to the Shire, disguised and full of mischief, to enjoy the tranquil pleasures of hobbit life, far from royal responsibilities. On one occasion, he joined a particularly vigorous game of pin the tail on the donkey, later regaling dear friends with stories of unexpected hilarity and pies mysteriously joining the celebration. Historians still debate whether Aragorn's final years quietly solidified his legacy, or whether they subtly forged a different kind of peace through reflection. where the soul of a leader became intertwined with the heart of a land perpetually seeking balance. Was his wisdom the natural culmination of a life well lived? Or does it linger in images gently painted across time's passage? As Aragorn's story finds its serene conclusion, once vibrant landscapes begin gathering the softness of evening's embrace, the kingdom resting under the gentle watch of its seasoned protector. Each whispered word, each pause pregnant with meaning, helps guide Middle-earth into dreams of its own, building upon foundations laid with kindness and courage. So allow the story to slow, stretching as the sea of stars reflect over the quiet realm, guiding your thoughts into a tableau of evening's peace. Drift gently within Aragorn's enduring shadow, finding solace in the murmur of pages turned to rest beneath silk and moonlight, as the faint strains of night's lullaby draw you sweetly into slumber. Trust that come dawn, your own dreams will echo with warmth and wonder, crafted softly amidst the timeless journey of Middle-earth's heart.